Real quick before this video starts, I just want to say that I am trying something new with this video. I've gotten a couple of comments recently, well, a whole lot of comments recently, saying that people haven't really liked the way I've been cutting down songs in videos. And, you know, I get those comments from time to time anyway, but it just kind of made me curious this time around and made me think, would a video actually work if I left the songs unedited and just sort of let them play out in their entirety to give context for my thoughts? So yeah, I'm trying that out with this video. Let me know what you think of this format down below, because I could maybe do it for future videos, but I do definitely prefer the edited down style, so I don't think it's going to be a permanent change or anything like that. But yeah, with that out of the way, enjoy the video. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Human Reviews channel, and today we are doing the Final Led Zeppelin video. Yeah, that's it. We're on In Through the Outdoor, their final full studio album. Coda is a compilation, so I'm not going to be doing that one. Yeah, we're here. This is it. It's the last one. I'm kind of surprised we're already here, you know? I've been doing this series for like, what, well over a month at this point? But yeah, it's kind of surprising I'm already at the finish line here. I literally just, like 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, finished filming my reaction to Presence, which is my least favorite album of theirs up to this point, but I still think it's solid. I still think it's a good release. I do think people underrate it a little bit. It is definitely the weakest in the band's discography up to this point, but not to the extent that I think a lot of people say it is. However, I am very nervous going into this one. This is their worst received album critically and among fans by a landslide. Yeah, this... Let me actually check the album of the year for this album here. Yeah, 46 critic score and a 65 user score. Yeah, that's not good. For an album by Led Zeppelin, 46 critic and 65 user, that's bad. I'm a little nervous going into this one. Again, not going in wanting to dislike this. I'm not going into this with any, like, bias against it. I just have reservations about this, but I'm cautiously optimistic, considering how much I disagreed with a lot of the very negative reception to Presence. I've heard Fall in the Rain. I know I've heard that song. Don't know if I've heard All My Love, and besides that, I've heard nothing. I've not heard any of these other songs, not that I can tell based on the title at least. Yeah, this album came out 1979, 7 tracks, 42 minutes. It's in line with the rest of their discography being a 42-minute album. Yeah, I remember the context of this album actually being pretty sad. The band ended up breaking up after this because of the passing of John Bonham, right? While a lot of people were saying the band could have kept going with like a different drummer, I respect the decision to call it there. The reception of the band wasn't as good as it had been, you know, pre-Physical Graffiti. They had lost one of their members. Ending the band is the most respectable decision they could have made, honestly. I am so glad that they didn't just decide to keep going, because that would have just felt like milking it, in my opinion. I am going into this, again, cautiously optimistic, but I'm hoping they go out with a bang. Let me know, of course, what you think of this album down below. This is just my opinion. I want to hear all of your guys' opinions. Let's get started with this. Track 1, In the Evening. Yeah. I would say put Love of Life where The Great Annihilator is and move everything one down after that. Like Love of Life, then The Great Annihilator, because White Light and Love of Life are companion pieces. One thing I'm actually curious about, this album has the longest gap between Zeppelin albums. There's 3 years between Presence and this album. Does anyone know why that is? Is there any, like, context reason for that, or is it just they took a long time to release this one? Because I'm very curious about that, because all the other albums, it was, like, less than a year or a year between all of them. I don't think there are any 2-year gaps. Oh, Robert Plant's son died? Jesus. Damn, that's fucking horrible, yeah. Makes sense why they'd take such a long hiatus then. I'm guessing it was like no touring, nothing, right? It would have just been cold silence from the band, yeah? In 77? Yeah, that's fucking rough. That's so rough, yeah. I advise against it. I say don't do it. Because it gets too cluttered. Oh, really? Jesus. Is it better so far? This song's solid. I like that they're embracing a lot more, I guess, I don't want to say electronic elements, but they're embracing sort of the vocal effects being as heavy as they are. The keys are taking a lot more of a leading presence in the song. I like that they're sort of embracing that and not just having the main focus be like guitar on this one. It's a pretty cool change up. I will say the vocal effect is a little awkward, but what the fuck is... No. No, don't do... No. Is this album gonna be let down by mixing? Why is this so blown out, man? That's fucking ear-piercing. Holy shit, that's way too loud. John Paul Jones and Robert had to do most of the work because Bonham and Jimmy were on the smack or drunk all the time? Jesus. Oh, really? We got two opposing sources here. Oh wait, John Paul Jones. Yeah, John Paul Jones doing most of the work. Sorry, got mixed up with Jimmy Page there in my head. The first song where Jimmy uses a whammy, really? I could have sworn I heard him using, like... Maybe it wasn't a whammy, maybe it was just like a different guitar effect. But I could have sworn I heard some similar stuff on Presence. A Gizmotron? Wow, that's the greatest name for anything ever. Man really embraced technology on this album. I appreciate that. I like that they did that. It's an interesting direction to take the band in, instead of just sticking to the strict hard rock style, embracing some of the technological advancements. Oh, okay. So is it like an EBO? Is that kind of like what it is? I'm guessing, because that sounds similar to what an EBO does. Anyway, In the Evening. I don't love it, but you know what? It's an okay way to start this album off. The vocal effect is very awkward. The mix is bad, but the song itself is actually pretty solid. The solo itself, while as fucking blown out as it is really solid. I think that the pacing of this track is fucking fantastic. I feel like the performances across the board are genuinely solid. I like that they're embracing technological advancements, implementing some synths, having them be sort of essentially the lead of the song. And while I don't think it's good, the vocal effect is a nice change to have in here, considering how just heavy it is. It's an okay opener. It's fine. I can't say I love it, but I appreciate it. It's a high 6 for me, like a 6.8, 6.9, just below a 7. It's starting off, to be perfectly honest, stronger than I expected. That is a solid way to start this album off. Oh, okay, it's fucking nothing like an EBO. Okay. That's pretty cool. You heard the band was really divided at this point. Plant and John Paul Jones were always in the studio. Jimmy and John stopping by sometimes, mostly recording their parts when the others are out. Sad process. I will say you can kind of feel it in that song, where a lot of their previous albums have felt like just the band recording it live. There is a certain, I feel, lack of chemistry here that there was on all of their previous albums. The performances themselves are solid, but it doesn't feel like the band are playing off of each other at all. You do, again, kind of lose that sort of charm and chemistry that I'm so used to from Zeppelin here. Up next we have Southbound Suarez. I agree, yeah. It's handily the weakest opener in the band's discography. Like, it's not close. Really? That's fair. This song is such a mess. You can feel the passion here. You can really see them like wanting to make this song as strong as they possibly can. But just the lack of any chemistry between the band members. It doesn't even feel like they're recording this in the same room. Like, I'm not even talking at the same time. It doesn't feel like... It feels like they're just recording, like, at their houses, like, a week apart from each other. That's how little I'm feeling any chemistry here. And on top of that, man, this mix, it's so cluttered. Nothing is balanced here at all. This is really rough. Like, those hi-hats, they sound so sloshy. The piano doesn't feel like it's staying in the same place at all. It's constantly being brought up and down, it sounds like. And the hi-hat's way louder than any of the other drums I just noticed as well. Besides the kick. Like, the snare's way too quiet. Yeah, I agree. It's kind of funny, for as much as I'm not too crazy on Robert Plant's vocal performance here, it really does feel like he's the only one who gives a shit. The rest of the band don't even feel like they're even there. Like, I'm someone who has praised, for example, John Bonham to the fucking moon and back, right? He just isn't bringing anything. There's, like, I'm normally grinning ear to ear with how fun and cool his parts are. It just feels, I don't know, man, it just feels like there's a loss of any real care. But then you have Robert Plant actually trying his hardest to make this song be as fun and as just goofy and ridiculous as possible. And I think that he really is the standout on that track, even if I don't like the vocals themselves. You know, listening to this especially hurts when you've, like, having listened to their stuff in order, seeing them, like, start off and progress to the heights of a Zeppelin 4 and a Physical Graffiti, and then just due to unfortunate circumstances, this is how they end up. It's, man, that fucking sucks. The song's like a solid 4 for me, like a 4.4, 4.5. That was not it. Damn, yeah, if that Presents video doesn't get me a lot of shit, this one's going to. Next up we have Fall in the Rain. I've heard this song. You know, this is the first time I can say I'm impressed by what John Bonham's doing. You know, the Fall in the Rain shuffle. It's iconic. Isn't this a polyrhythm? No, it's just triplets. This isn't a polyrhythm. Still very much 4/4 across the board. Yeah, it's just shuffled in like a triplet sort of feel. See, I love that. You got... Oh, that's quarter note triplets? Like, stuff like that I'm used to seeing all of that cool shit from John Bonham. And I like that he's keeping time as well on the hi-hats. You can count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, because of the quarter note triplets, I guess it's kind of like a 3/4 polyrhythm here. Well, I forgot about this switch up. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah. This... Have I heard this song in full? Because I don't remember this. You know, I obviously remember the first, 2.5 minutes of the song. I don't recall this. This section doesn't work. It just... The rest of the song has been so, it's been so laid back, it's been so relaxed, and suddenly going into this big, just massive explosion, tons of percussion, sort of feeling like it's rhythmically a little bit influenced by African music. This feels so out of nowhere. It doesn't really fit in here. Argentinian, actually, would be, yeah, that would probably be better than, say, an African-influenced Argentinian. Oh, chat, Brad Taste is live. I know where to send you when I'm done. Sounds like Yoshi Falls. Yeah, Yoshi. How the fuck is that pronounced? Is it Yoshi or Yoshi? I feel like Yoshi's a very American way to say that. It's the best part of the song in your opinion? It just doesn't feel like it fits. It feels like they're kind of overcompensating for a lack of for a bit of the lack of variety that the album's had up to this point, and they're just being like just shoving something in your face, being like, "Look at this! That was cool, right? We did something." Yeah, appreciate the effort, but yeah. That acoustic doesn't fit here. Yeah, that acoustic is just clashing with everything else. I think I've kind of pieced together the biggest problem with this up to this point, and it's that on every single other album, it has felt like every band member is co-lead. Like, Led Zeppelin are one of those bands where every single member feels like co-lead. Where Plant's vocals, Bonham's drumming, Jimmy Page's guitaring, and then John Paul Jones's keys and bass, they're all as important as each other. This is the first album where it feels like Plant is solo lead. Everything else just feels like it's all the way back here. Bonham's part on that song is cool, but it's part of an entire 6-minute song, and it does get to the point where eventually I'm just like, okay, I'm used to it. And not to mention the switch up in that song, that it feels like, you know, we've got a nice laid back track here. It's chill, it's relaxing. Boom, jump scare. Look at this. Big flashing lights overwhelming you right in your face. And now they turned off and we're just back into the other song again. It feels like this song has the best ideas on the album up to this point and is probably, it's definitely the most enjoyable, but it still is a victim of the rest of the band just feeling like they don't really give a fuck, which is so unfortunate, man. There is a great song here, but I feel like it isn't really able to reach its fullest potential just due to, I don't know, an overall lack of any power or impact. Just simply due to the band just not really playing off of each other all that well here. I'm feeling another high 6 on this song, and like a 6.9. It's like, actually, I can't give it a 7. No, it's just beneath a 7 for me. It's in the green, but not by a lot. There's a great song here, and it's disappointing that it isn't as great as it could be. I honestly think that song would have worked fantastically as just a 4-minute dive into that main instrumental that they had. Cut out the switch up, and that song is great. Straight up, just cut it out, and I think that you have a song that is a million times better. Up next we have Hot Dog. Oh, I've just hit space on fucking notepad. Hot Dog. Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Yeah. What the fuck? Listen, I've been able to defend the ideas on this album up to this point. They've had great ideas, just bad execution. This one should be a non-starter. I'm surprised this made it to the recording stage. I didn't even pick up on that fucking line. I took her love at 17. Jesus Christ. What was that? Oh my god, what happened? No. Listen, I've been trying my best to defend the album up to this point. I can't defend this. Thank you, 8-Ball. This is so bad it's good. Yeah, listen. That was the most enjoyable song up to this point. In the same way, Tommy Wiseau's The Room is enjoyable. That was a train wreck. Entertainment-wise, that song is a 6 or a 7. That was hilarious. But it's really disheartening to see them drop off this far, dude. This is gonna sound harsh, but I genuinely do think it's this bad. This is a low 2 for me. 2.3, 2.4. I don't think it can get any worse than that. I hope it doesn't get any worse with that. Next up, we have Carouselambra. 2. It's as a song, it's a 2 out 10 fucking minutes. As a song, it's a 2 out of 10. It's an entertaining track, but it's really bad. I disagree with this point. Fun bad is, I think is such a valid way to describe something. There are plenty of things I see as fun bad. Limp Bizkit, I think, are a fun bad band. Again, a film like Tommy Wiseau's The Room. That's fun bad. Something can be bad, but also incredibly enjoyable at the same time. There's a difference between entertaining and good. That song was entertaining, but it wasn't good. Yeah, Surfing Safari, that's fun bad. Album fucking sucks. But did I have fun listening to it? Absolutely I did. Well, so are you saying it would be one of the 3 greatest songs ever made had it not been drowned out, or would you say it's still up there with the lyrics being drowned out? Fair enough. I'm very curious to see how this song is going to use its 10.5-minute runtime. Because it feels like we're in kind of the instrumental bridge before the final verse here. Does not feel like there's another 7 minutes of this song to go. Kind of abrupt switch up, but this section does sound very pleasant. This guitar tone's really nice. Grunge before grunge. This is definitely, in my opinion, the strongest so far, though. I think that the lyrics on this song are fantastic. The mix is a bit rough, but I think it is genuinely kind of stronger than the other songs. It's just the vocals that are a bit drowned out. Yeah, it's got fantastic ideas. In my opinion, most of them are being executed really well, but there's just some things that kind of are drawbacks for me here. One of the biggest ones is pacing. Song does not feel like it's warranted being as long as it is up to this point. Like, every section has felt like it could be shortened and would have just as much, if not even more, impact, to be honest. Pacing is out the indoor, yeah. Really? We're doing these fucking zip-zappy sounding ass synths. Whatever, dude. Whatever. No. This bit sounds great, though. I'm sorry, what was that? Sorry, I can't hear you because you're all the way over there. What's the point of having that guitar there? They're like, guys, let's have a cool lead guitar riff, and let's put it all the way back there. Let's make it so that it is hardly audible. Listen, I'm liking this song, but some of these choices are actually, they're inexcusable, dude. What do you mean I'm not? I do think the song is a genuinely enjoyable experience overall. It just has a lot of drawbacks for me that are stopping it from being up here. Just bring it to the front of the mix. Bring it to the front. Why is it hard panned all the way back there, dude? Yeah, some of them did. Some 70s and 80s synths sound really nice, but a lot of them do age like milk. Like, what is that? That's so out of pocket. Abbey Road, Wish You Were Here, and Thriller are great examples. Sounds like R2-D2. This is the best song so far. I would even go as far as to say this song is good. I think this is a good song. But there are a handful of drawbacks that stop this from being great and would stop me from ever wanting to come back to this song. Number one, the pacing is atrocious. Nothing about this song warrants 10.5 minutes. Every section, without failure, I can hear a point. I heard a point in every single section. I was like, okay, this will be a good point for it to switch to the next section. And then it doesn't, and it still doesn't, and it still doesn't, and it just keeps going, and it keeps going. Secondly, the mix of this song, while I don't think it's utterly appalling, you can definitely tell that there's been some screwing with the mixing, especially given the context of the song being about what it's about, and Jimmy Page kind of like being a bit spiteful and kind of wanting to sort of lower the vocals. Oh my god. And then on top of all of that, you have some of the most dated sounding synths ever, dude. They just sound so dated. And look, sure, you can make the argument of, but it sounded good at the time. One of the most important factors of music is does it stand the test of time? And these synths do not. 45 years later, they sound like shit. They sound like old robot noises from a film. The positives outweigh the negatives. Performances are great on the whole. I think that the lyrics are fucking fantastic on this song. Genuinely pretty emotionally impactful. And I do think that each section does sound good outside of the synths not being great. And there's some really cool ideas on this song as well, where it sort of goes into that drum eighth note thing where the drums are sort of like marching, leading sort of this really cool rhythm, keeping time on the stepped hi-hats as well. That's great, but it's held back by so much just stupid bullshit. I'm feeling a flat 7 on this song. That's me. Listen, I'm being very generous. I am defending this album as much as I can, and me giving that 7 it's the most generous 7 I can give. I think it is good, but not a touch over that. Do I think Jimmy and Robert explored each other's bodies? Mods, can we time this guy out? Next up we have All My Love. Oh, you actually... I was joking. I was joking. I was only joking. Oh my god. Is that a string machine? I don't know. It sounds like it might be the same thing they were using earlier. I was only joking. I didn't actually mean for you to do it. Might be the thing they were using earlier on the guitar where it like makes it sound like it's strings. I'm gonna guess what that is. Is this the end or just begin? Oh, is this to end or just begin? Okay. Oh, is this string synth? Okay. Makes sense. This one's about his son? Yeah, I thought that might be what it was about. Alright, Crocky. I'm probably gonna meet you at the train station. So just, like, give me a text when you're, like, I don't know, 10 minutes away, and then I'll head down to the train station. I'll meet you. That's right, I'm escaping the basement. Fuck off. No. Fuck, no. Why? Whatever. You had the best song on the album, dude. What is this? Let him have his solo. It sounds terrible though. That doesn't fit. Nothing about this song was felt like that made any sense in context. Don't tell Monster ban someone if there's no difference between when you mean it's a joke or if it's serious. I said it in a way that I thought he would pick up on the fact that it's a joke, okay? I said it in the mods. Can we time this guy out, please? I thought the sarcasm would be picked up on. Outside of that terrible synth solo, this song's actually pretty great. Yeah, I know. British people use sarcasm as the default. Yeah. It means whale cock, is what that means. Okay. Don't question it. Don't question it. Appropriately shitty fade out, I guess. This is the best written song so far, easily. Yeah. Right here, exactly. I agree with this. It is a genuinely emotionally impactful track. I think that the writing is handily the standout here. A great deep dive into the grief that Robert Plant feels, the overwhelming feeling of love that he still has for his son after he's gone, and feeling just a certain emptiness, talking about getting a little bit lonely as well. Feeling like a certain ember or a certain fire has gone out and just seeing the remaining embers of it. It's actually very touching song. I think that it is easily the best written on the album up to this point, and I think instrumentally, by a fucking landslide, the best on the album up to this point. The synth solo was... I can't put into words how bad it was, but everything else sounded great. This legit felt like such a massive return to form. It felt like I was listening to a song from an earlier album. It genuinely sounded fantastic. The mixing felt a lot more balanced. The instrumental ideas were a lot more, A, creative, and B, well thought out. And on top of that, it felt like the band had an actual sense of chemistry here. It didn't feel like they were all recording in different places on different days. They actually felt like they were somewhat playing off of each other. This song gets a high 7 for me. It's a 7.8. Best song by a decent margin. It's like the first song that I can say I'm solidly certain it's good. Grief, what happened? A lot of this album is based on Robert Plant's son passing away in 1977. And that song is definitely where it's the most apparent. And I think the actual placing of this track, as well as Carouselambra, it's very clever. Having the song that's about people not being there for him during this time, during what is essentially the most difficult thing he's ever had to go through, and then having a song after that that is exploring in such detail the grief, the feeling of loss, the emptiness, the loneliness. That's actually such incredible track placement. And I think that that is the only thing that this album has over Presence, is that I think that the flow is a little bit better in terms of track placement. The pacing is all fucking over the place, but the actual song placement makes a lot more sense. Here we are. Final song. This is the last Led Zeppelin song I will ever talk about for a video. The last one. See if they end on a bang. I'm gonna crawl. Final track. And in the same way the last album did, with a 3/4 swingy slow song. I'm cool with that. It feels appropriate. Okay. Not a very good vocal effect, but I don't hate it. Yeah. Wow. The solo's fine. It's whatever. They're actually ending it with a great song. I'm honestly surprised. This sounds incredible. Best vocal performance he'd ever done? I don't think it's like the best he's ever done, but it's very good. Far better than a lot of the performances on the rest of the album, at least. It's genuinely great. I am disagreeing. He has abandoned pitch here. A bit of a weak way to finish the song, but whatever. You know what? Compared to the shit show that is the rest of this album, that was genuinely great. Do I have my minor gripes with the song? Sure. I think it ends a little weak. I think the pacing of this track is a little wonky. But you know what? It's actually a song I think I would see myself coming back to, just for how amazing the instrumental ideas are across the board, how show-stopping Robert Plant's vocal performance here is. I think it is a great performance. Not his best by any means, but it is actually pretty fantastic. The writing's good, I guess. I would have much preferred... I honestly think that All My Love as a closer would have been better, because of how emotionally impactful that song is. This song, it's well written, but it doesn't have the same just gut-punching power that the previous one does. But this also is the song where I'm able to get the strongest sense of atmosphere. Funnily enough, voice crack, this song kind of reminds me of, I think it's the final scene in Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo. It kind of feels like, and I'm going to spoil Vertigo here for you, it feels like them, you know, a big point of tension, then they climb the top of this tower and they're like trying to figure out what to do, only for it to end in complete disaster. You know, she falls off the tower and fucking dies. For some reason, that scene was playing over in my head during this song. The lyrics don't even describe anything similar. I don't know why that was playing over in my head during this, it just was. Yeah, I do think this is the best song on the album. I would give it like a very low 8, like an 8.1, 8.2. I think it is the only song off of this album that I can say is genuinely great, and one I would see myself coming back to. Ladies and gentlemen, that was not only In Through the Outdoor, but the Led Zeppelin discography. We're done. It's over, just like that. Yeah, this album is a very unfortunate way to end off the band. I think it ends a lot stronger than it starts. You know, you get 2 7s and an 8 to close off the album. That's okay. But man, the first 4 songs on this album are just not it. I think that this really is just such an inconsistent, sloppily put together album with passionless performances across the board, except for, you know, Robert Plant, who does genuinely feel like he is trying his best all the way throughout this album. There's some interesting ideas, but the execution is so shit on most of them that it kind of baffles me that a lot of this made it onto the album. It baffles me that a song like Hot Dog was even made it to the recording stage. I can't say I'm disappointed necessarily. You know, based on the context of where the band were in their lives, you know, you had Jimmy Page going through what was probably the hardest thing to happen to him, and then the rest of the band, like, well, not the rest of the band, but Jimmy Page and John Bonham sort of being stuck in a cycle of addiction at this point and hardly coming into the studio. It's to be expected that they would create something a little more messy, a little less refined, but man, it's such an unfortunate way to end the band off. I'm going to add up the scores, and then I will tell you what my overall score for this album is. I am feeling a high 5 on this album. Haven't decided whether it's like a 5.8, 5.9. I don't know the specific decimal score that I'd give this. It has its positives. You know, I think the final 3 tracks are strong, but the negatives and the positives do kind of even out for me. This is far and away the worst album the band released. And it's unfortunate that it's their last album to end off this way, but I can't complain that much. We had like a, 7-album streak where they were at the bare minimum good. So, you know, the fact that you get to your 8th album, you get your first and only miss. Ladies and gentlemen, that does it for the Led Zeppelin discography. Thank you for joining me on this journey throughout these 8 albums. This has been fun. This has been very fun. Just getting to do a full artist discography front to back. I've not done that since I started talking about music on this channel when I was doing the Radiohead series. And I kind of missed it, being able to just go front to back, listening to every single album in order. It was a great experience, honestly, getting to see the evolution of the band, getting to see how they changed up the sound, the way they progressed and learn new techniques and stuff like that. It was honestly a very satisfying experience to watch them grow, get better, and to see the circumstances that ultimately ended in this album. Despite the fact that I don't really like this album, it's still fascinating to see, and it does make the journey feel whole and complete, you know? I'm, you know, had I not been doing videos on this, I probably wouldn't have even listened to this album. I probably would have like put it off so much, being like, people don't really like this. You know, I'm probably gonna fucking hate this bullshit. I'm just not listening to this right now. But no, actually sitting down and having a conclusive, definitive end to this, it's very satisfying. It's very satisfying. Next artist I'm gonna do is Weezer. Yes, we are doing Weezer next, which that discography is not going to be as good as Led Zeppelin, so let me tell you that now. That's going to be, oh boy. Check. Bro, give me a minute, man. I'm trying to do an outro here. Fucking hell. Beatles win. I gave their lowest album a 60. Yeah, but Beatles probably have like a lower average score for me than Led Zeppelin. I think Led Zeppelin are a better band than the Beatles. In terms of consistency of discography, in terms of how much I find myself coming back to them. I kind of prefer Zeppelin over the Beatles, you know? That's probably a hot take, but I do prefer Zeppelin over the Beatles. They're such different bands, though. Beatles are Baroque pop, and Zeppelin are hard rock. Zeppelin are the greatest band of all time. I don't think they're the greatest band of all time, but I do think they're up there. I think they are... There's an argument to be made. There's an argument to be made. Better than Swans? Okay, now that's taking the piss. No. Yeah, thank you all so much for watching this video. Let me know what you think of this album down below. How does it compare to other Zeppelin albums? Do you think you agree with the fans that this is their weakest release? Or do you disagree and think it's a strong way to end off the discography? Yeah, that's the Zeppelin discography over. Let me know what other albums you'd like to see me listen to in the future down below. Let me know how you'd rank all the Zeppelin albums as well. Links in the description to my Discord, my album of the year, my Twitter, and my other channels. Check those out if you haven't. Like and sub if you haven't as well. We are on our way to 2K. And I will see you all whenever I next stream or upload. Bye bye.